Texas heads into SEC season 3-1. Will they make it into Atlanta? Let's jump right into there. I'm with Brandon and Josh, Texas voice of college football, and let's talk about this SEC schedule real quick, guys, and let's jump right into it. So Florida, 1-3 football team, but still super talented. Josh, I'll let you hit this one first. Do you think Florida has a chance in this game? Do you think Texas should run away in this game?
I think Texas should run away with this game. If the offense comes out flat, I do think Florida can stay in this game. Defensively, they have a lot of pieces, a good defensive line. They have some injuries here and there. Billy Napier's job is, it's on thin ice right now. So is DJ Lagway's. DJ Lagway, he needs a bounce back game. So for Florida to win this game, Arch Manning has to regress and look more like his UTEP self. So I think it's possible. If I'm putting a percentage chance on it, I think Texas wins 80. I feel about 95% confident they're going to win this game.
Brandon, what about you?
I'm with you, Josh. So everything will be predicated on how well Texas offense plays. No more, no less. I think both teams on defense are pretty good. I think Texas defense is actually probably elite when it comes to stopping people, and the way DJ Lagway's playing is going to help. So with that being said, I think the game starts off kind of close, back and forth, and late we pull away and we end up winning by double digits.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident heading into this game. I mean, DJ Lagway in a boot, back to where he started the season. He's had injury problems. Dallas Wilson, a really talented freshman wide receiver, is yet to play. Caleb Banks, their best defensive player, is probably going to be out for this game as well. Now, this environment, I agree. Steve Sarkisian mentioned it as one of the best, if not the best, in the whole SEC and not the country. So I do think it's going to be interesting going into an environment like that. I think it's probably going to be the most ruckus environment Arch Manning has stepped into, and he stepped into the horseshoe, but I think this is a different beast. So it's going to be an interesting game. But I think if Texas can score 20 points in this game, they can win this game like 20-10. So I agree. I think Texas wins this game. Now, the game after that, the Red River rivalry, Red River shootout, whatever you want to call it. Some big news breaking today. John Mateer, hand surgery on his broken hand, throwing hand it is, and we do not know if he's going to play in this football game. I actually felt confident going into this game regardless because I think that guy is a turnover waiting to happen. Now, do I think he's better than Michael Hawkins? Yes. We watched Michael Hawkins last year. I do not think Michael Hawkins is a very good football player. But the thing is, I will say, Oklahoma, way more healthy this year than they were last year. They are better at the wide receiver position. They're better at the offensive line. But they have to get the running game going because remember, guys, John Mateer is their leading rusher at this moment. That is not a good sign. So if Jaden Ott and those guys in the backfield can't get going, I think Texas wins this game and pulls away in the second half. I think it's really close in the first half, but I think they pull away late.
Yeah, no, I'm in total agreement with you. I just look at this team without John Mateer, who is the catalyst of that offense. It's just going to be difficult. They have more talent this year than they had last year. They're just healthier straight up. The offensive line is better, but it's not great. And I do think Texas defensive line should be able to get after him. They're starting Michael Fasusi at left tackle, who's looked okay for the most part, but he's a freshman. I mean, him lining up against Colin Simmons or Ethan Berg, that's going to be a tough matchup for him. If they cannot run the football effectively and keep Michael Hawkins out of like 3rd and 8s, 3rd and longs, it's just going to be quite difficult. I don't see OU scoring a ton of points unless they can find space for these speedy receivers like Deion Burks on the outside. I do think Oklahoma has a very good defense. They can absolutely get after the quarterback. They can absolutely cover as well. So I think this might not be a blowout game, but I just think Texas offensively will go down and maybe score on 4 or 5 drives. Whereas for Oklahoma, I just don't see them scoring on us. So I think Texas wins this one handily. I think it might be like a 24-10 type of game.
Absolutely, Josh. I definitely can see that. Before the injury, I was worried about Mateer for the same reasons Matthew stated, just in terms of like he is turnover prone, but with those turnovers, he's also big play prone. Like he can create big plays with his legs. He's a good enough passer downfield to like give those guys a chance on the edge. But now that he's hurt, I'm feeling way more confident just in terms of like the quarterback run game is always a problem for guys. And like he was really good at it. So with that being said, I think it's really going to come down to if we can protect the ball on offense. Not if we can even score, because their defense is playing really well and they're creating turnovers, and that front is playing out of their mind right now. They just had 10 stacks versus Auburn. Like they're playing really, really well. And knowing that their starting quarterback is hurt, I think they have the chance to turn it up a notch, which is scary because they've been playing lights out. So I do think we win, but I think it's going to be a defensive battle early on in the game, back and forth, like you said, and then later as the game goes on, because Michael Hawkins, unless he's progressed tremendously from last year, I have zero concerns because they couldn't throw the ball. And if you can't throw the ball versus us, you're going to struggle. Ohio State struggled because they really couldn't throw the ball. Like they had just enough of big plays and they created turnovers. Again, if we can protect the ball and if we can run the ball and, again, keep the game on third down manageable for Arch and 3rd and 5 or less, then I think we win by probably, I say anywhere between 14 to 17 points.
Yeah, I kind of see. No, go ahead.
So I was just going to say, I think Oklahoma's a tad bit overrated right now. They're number 7 in the country. Yes, they have ranked wins over Michigan and Auburn, but I'm not the biggest believer in Michigan's offense. Neither am I the biggest believer of Auburn's offense. So I'll give them credit for winning those games, but those were really close games that I just didn't feel like Oklahoma dominated those games where I feel like they should have. So I'm not buying too much into Oklahoma right now.
So I would say that about Auburn. They kicked Michigan's ass up front.
They did.
Michigan lost the game up front, and that's what that's where our strength lies, right? On defense, but on offense, that is not our strength. That's why it kind of concerns me, just because they are playing to a higher standard on that D line. Like that D line is playing out of their
they're tough.
Yeah, and so like when I talk about just them as a team, I'm just like, you can suck on the perimeter if you can create pressure. Everything else kind of falls into place, and that's what's happening right now. Like those guys aren't on the back end aren't playing like that great. Like they're good, but they're not like. I don't think they're better than Muhammad. I don't think they're better than Grayson Littleton, just in terms of like pure talent and overall ability. But you have a rush, ball's coming out quick. You don't have to be as good. So I just feel like, again, if we can protect Arch, if we can protect the ball, we'll be fine. If any of those things falter, we have turnovers, we have fumbles, anything like that, this game can turn real 10-6, old school, wishbone, 3 yards in a cloud of dust on both sides type of a game.
Well, that's the thing, too, with these next 2 games. I think they're the 2 best defenses we'll probably play all year, honestly. I don't even think – I watched Georgia's defense versus Tennessee, and there's a lot to eat there on that back end with Georgia. Yeah, they're not good in the back end. So I think these are the 2 best defenses we're going to play in the regular season, and it's going to be a big test. And I just need Arch to be clean. Like, if he's clean in these games, I don't think their offense is scoring enough points to test us. But if we're turning over the ball, then I don't know what's going to happen. So – just stay clean, but we agree on this. The next 2 games up are Kentucky and Mississippi State. And I kind of want to clump these 2 together because coming into the year, I said one of these 2 teams is going to test Texas more than Texas fans think they're going to. And I want to ask the question to you guys, who do you think that's going to be between Kentucky and Mississippi State? I'll give my answer at the end, but Josh, we'll start with you.
I know Mississippi State has that win that's really impressive. I might go Kentucky, though. They've handled business. And 30-23 versus Ole Miss, and Ole Miss can score points. I think this defense can give Texas not necessarily too many problems. I think Texas wins both these games, but I just look at this Kentucky team, and they're a well-coached team. Zach Calzada, he's not a great quarterback. It might be him. It might be McGowan. We'll see. But I think Kentucky might give them I'm going to go Kentucky.
I'm going Mississippi State because I think they can move the ball. Blake Shapen's playing really good football. He's coming back off an injury. Like that offense is still kind of figuring themselves out, but they're playing at a pretty good level right now. And they're one of the teams. It'll be interesting to watch them this weekend versus Tennessee because they run similar offense. It's that veer and shoot, go fast, it's really a power run game. But because the splits are wide and we are fast, we're going to chunk it downfield when we get the opportunity. So with that being said, they worry me a little bit more just in terms of our defense and just conditioning, because I think they can turn the tempo up and get our big guys out of the game. Just in terms of, I'm tired, I'm going to stand straight up, gas for 8 yards. Then tempo, if they don't sub, we can't sub. So when I look at it in that aspect, and I think defensively they do a good job of creating turnovers. They just find ways to get the ball. It's not always pretty. It doesn't always make sense. But when you look up, they have 2 or 3 turnovers, and that helps them win. They do a pretty good job of playing complementary football as well. So I would pick Mississippi State, but Kentucky is playing a lot better than I thought they would be. So.
Yeah, Mississippi State, I was really high on coming into the year. I think I had them 6-6, so I think they're probably going to get there. They're already 4-0. And yeah, that system's going to be interesting. And that home crowd, listen, I don't think it's one of the best in the country or anything, but it's just annoying. Like, that's going to be annoying to hear that for the next hour or 3 hours while you're there. So can you get them to? What's
the Big 12 team that does that?
Oklahoma State.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, they do the paddles where they slam it against
on the pad. Oh, it's so annoying. Yeah. But yes. So Matthew, that's what I said tonight on the show. Those cowbells are annoying as hell for 3 hours, and I sat in the booth.
I feel like you'll get tinnitus on the field just listening to that over and over and over again. So you're gonna have to figure something out with that. But I like Blake Shapen. Like, I liked him at Baylor. His issue to me, I think he's an NFL quarterback, honestly, like a backup, but his health. Like, if he's healthy, he's good.
Yes.
So if he's healthy when we go down to Mississippi State, they will give us issues because they have enough speed too. Like Brennan Thompson, his only issue was, dedication to football. That's clearly not the issue anymore. He's dedicated to football. He's got the talent. They have him. They got Blake Shapen. They have Jeff Levy. So I think offensively, it's crazy to say because I think if Mateer's back, then it's different. I think Oklahoma will be the best offense we face up until that through these games. But I think up until this point to Mississippi State, I think Mississippi State's going to be the best offense we have played. So I do think they're going to give us the biggest game out of those two. So I would go Mississippi State. Now let's head on to the team actually that might be the toughest test with Mateer out, and that's Vanderbilt. So I was not going to say that coming into the year, but they're undefeated. They're looking good. We'll see what they do going through the rest of the schedule get to us, but there's a good chance this team's still ranked when they come to Austin. And with that weird kind of style of offense they run with Diego Pavia, and guys, they love to hold on to the football. So when you play a team like that, it's a really small margin of error. Like, every turnover you make versus Vanderbilt is just even bigger than versus other teams because they hold on to the ball. Like, they have the ball for 35 minutes of the game. That's how they beat Bama. They had the ball for 42 minutes. So what do you guys feel about going into this game? Brandon, I'll start with you.
They were my pick to win 10, 11 games this year because I got to play with them on College Football 26, and I got to see all the triple option football they do. And me being a guy who loves triple option football at his core, just because it's so hard to defend, the issue is when you prepare for a team like Vanderbilt, that roster also got better. You can't duplicate what they do in practice. It's timing, and it's like the angles in which they do things on offense. Everything's predicated on angles and timing in that triple option offense, and it's how they get to things to confuse your eyes. And that's why I thought coming into the season, outside of probably Georgia, I thought that would be our toughest game because they are well coached, they play hard, and they're good at what they do. And everyone believes in their quarterback. Like, you don't have a person on that campus who doesn't believe that guy can take them into hostile environments and go win games. So I was a big fan of the player last year, watching them versus Bama, like when I really studied the game, and then going and then seeing how they're playing this year, they're really picking up where they left off, and they're even better. That's going to be a harder game than what we think because what that offense does is leave guys unblocked. So you can be wrong, even though you're technically right. It just puts good players in dilemmas. So Anthony Hill, he's going to have to play his best game of the year that game. Because he's going to be relied on to see things clearly. The interior of our D-line is going to be pivotal to create penetration. And then the guys on the perimeter, they're going to have to tackle at the highest of levels. Like Michael Tev is going to have to play out of his mind as well. Like the middle of our defense is going to have to play so well and be so disciplined and know your rules and assignments every play. Because if not, you're thinking triple option or you're thinking RPO, it's play action and someone sneaking behind you. The tight end, number 9.
Eli Stowers. Good football player. He understands how to use his body, strong hands.
Yeah.
Faster than you think. Really not explosive, but he's faster than you think. He's sneaking behind you for a touchdown. Next thing you know, they held the ball for a 10-minute drive. To Matthew's point, that's what they're really good at. Ball control and controlling the clock and keep your offense up the field. So that's, to me, that's going to be probably our toughest game, just in terms of their style of play. And even though we get them at home, just they're so disciplined and tough. So Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I'm not worried yet about them because they've played one good team so far, that being South Carolina, and then South Carolina's quarterback goes out. So they beat up on them. Impressive win because they scored 30 points versus the South Carolina defense that can go a little bit.
Yeah.
But after this Utah State game, they have Alabama, LSU, then Missouri. They got 3 straight really tough matchups versus 3 really good teams. If they keep those games close, especially LSU, like if they either beat or play up to LSU, then all of a sudden that Texas Vanderbilt game really scares me. So I'm not too concerned about it yet because I know that they gave us some problems last year, but I felt like we really handled Diego Pavia for most of the game last year. With a pretty similar defense this year, I think we could handle Diego Pavia. Vanderbilt's defense can go, though. They're a solid unit. I definitely think this is not a game that I think Texas just beats the brakes off them. Of course, I hope they do, but I think this is a close game. I think I'm thinking this game will be pretty similar to last year, where Texas is in control of the game, but Vanderbilt just keeps fighting and hanging around the rim, and they make plays. Again, my opinion of this game will change depending on what happens versus LSU, Bama, and Missouri. Right now, I feel pretty confident saying Texas will win, but if they give LSU a run for their money, then I'm starting to worry about this one a little bit.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I definitely think up until that point, that's probably it. You can debate again if Mateer's not back, it's Mississippi State or Vanderbilt is the best offense will play, which is crazy to say. Like you would have told people at the beginning of the year that was the case, like 3/4 of the way through the season, they would have laughed at you, but that is going to be the case if Mateer's out. Next up, I think this is the most losable game on the rest of the schedule. I didn't think that coming into the year because I thought Texas offense was going to be better than it has been. Now maybe it does get up to that point. But Georgia, Gunnar Stockton to me looks pretty good. Like he's looked good so far. I'm actually less concerned about their defense. I'm more concerned about their offense. So what do you guys feel about this game? Josh, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a big believer in Stockton until that right when they started to get things going versus Tennessee. Because at first it was like Tennessee's going to run this game out the water. And I was like, yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen. Then that dude Gunnar Stockton stepped up and played well. He proved a lot to me that game. I think Stockton's a good quarterback. Hasn't thrown an interception yet. Has only been sacked 4 times. He's been clean with the football, 70% completion percentage, so he's been efficient. I don't think they have the greatest run game right now. Their biggest run is only for 23 yards, so they're not really making explosive plays in that department. But Gunnar Stockton does have legs, so that always kind of will hurt you. They got some dudes on the outside that can go. Zachariah Branch is a speed demon, so hopefully Texas can manage to bottle him up. I think this is a winnable game for Texas. I know that Georgia has seemingly had our number. Last year, they beat us twice in 2 games where Texas, they made mistakes. They definitely made a lot of mistakes. I think Texas can win this one, but for sure, this will be your toughest test. If Arch is going by then, if Arch is like playing really good football, I do think Texas wins this game. But if Arch is playing inconsistent football, I think we lose this game. So I think this game honestly comes down to what version of Arch we're having. If Arch is playing good, I think Texas wins. If Arch is inconsistent, then I think Georgia wins.
Yeah, man. I mean, you actually hit it on the head. Like, I actually like Gunnar Stockton because to me, he has a little gamer to him. Like, it's just like it's nothing overly impressive until like the game gets kind of close or the offense needs a play, and then he just he puts on his cape and he makes the throw and he makes the run. Like he just has a lot of gamer to him that I can always appreciate. Now, with that being said, that defense isn't playing up to the standard in which they played last year, but that was versus a Tennessee team that they ran 3 plays every like 12 seconds or 18 seconds, something crazy like that. They play at a pace that we don't play at. So I don't think we'll see the same defense. And that worries me because of what happened last year in terms of protection, the run game in the red zone, like all the problems that we kind of saw later in the year, Georgia exposed when we played them the first time. And then when we lost to Georgia again, and then we lost to Ohio State, it was the same issues. So they worry me in that regard. Everything that late in the year, honestly, though, is going to come down to health. Like, who's the healthiest? Who's playing with the most starters? Which team young guys are stepping up the most? So to your point, Josh, I think this game is going to have to be an Arch Manning game, just in terms of he's going to have to be on his P's and Q's and making the right reads, making the easy layups, as you like to say, like taking the freebies. Like, you don't have to force it downfield. Take the check down. Let's get CJ Baxter the ball in space. Let him get 6-7 yards on 2nd and 10. You know what I mean? So I think that game will more so come down to him. I think defensively we have enough to stop them on the perimeter. I don't think they can run the ball. I don't think they like running the ball, which is crazy because Kirby Smart is a run the ball first kind of guy. But for some reason this year they are struggling to run the ball consistently. They can get a couple explosive here and there, but down in and down out, running the ball is not what they're good at. So I don't worry about them in that regard. I do worry just in terms of if our pass rush is going to be there consistently. So are we going to have to send extra pressure to get Stockton out of the pocket or to create pressure? Or is Colin Simmons going to show up versus, big time opponents? Is Brad Spence, Trey Moore, like, are those guys on the perimeter going to show up so that we can play coverage? Maybe we put 2 over top of Branch because he's, he can run, which goes back to my argument about Gilbo not being on the field, but that's another story. So all that being said, I do think it's a winnable game, but playing in Georgia, again, that's a hostile environment. So, but I'm more concerned about the psyche of the team after the 2 losses last year. Are they going to, because everyone in national media, that's going to be the story. If both teams are, if we went out going into Georgia, they went out, we'll probably be top 5 by then, right? And now it's okay. You lost 2 games last year to this team. How's that affect? Like that's going to be the storyline. So it'd be interesting to see where we are as a team, just in terms of maturity on the field and maturity off of the field.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, if they don't lose this weekend to Alabama at home, then that's going to be basically to that game 5 years since they lost at home when they play us. So that's a really hard place to go into and win. When they've gotten it rolling, they've pretty much dominate everyone that comes in there. And I think it's might be the highest selling regular season ticket just in general in the country. Like when you look at the prices to get in, it's like $700 at the very top of the stadium per ticket. So they're going to be excited about it. They're going to be juiced about it. It's going to be a hell of a football game. Next game up is Arkansas. And I think this game is interesting because it's kind of the opposite of Florida and Oklahoma. Like, I don't think either of those teams, if Mateer's out, are very good offensively, but they're good defensively. Whereas Arkansas is really good offensively, but they are putrid defensively. So, and maybe Taylor Green's issue has been health. So if he's healthy for this game, and that's a big question mark, I think it's going to be a pretty hard football game. If he's not, then I think Texas is going to win this game by. It could be the biggest blowout we have left, honestly. It could be right there between either Arkansas and Kentucky is the biggest blowout if he's not healthy. But I think it'd definitely be a pretty big challenge. Brandon, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, Taylor Green is the only thing that concerns me about that team. Him and Mike Washington are the running back because that's what they want to do. Sam Pittman is I want to run the ball down your throat and show you that we are tougher than you, stronger than you, all of that stuff. So if he's healthy, to me, this would be a similar test to Diego, but different because this guy has a cannon. And if you turn your back and play man coverage, how we occasionally do, he's an elite athlete for the quarterback position in terms of being able to make guys miss in the pocket and create and break for long runs. So he worries me in that regard. But to your point, I don't know if he makes it to that game just because of how he plays. Like, he takes a lot of shots because he does run the ball so much. And they, whether it's design runs or him scrambling, he needs to learn how to slide. But if he doesn't and he keeps taking these shots, it's probably a good chance he doesn't play. If he doesn't play, we should blow them out, to your point, Matthew.
Yeah, I think Arkansas is a good team offensively. They can absolutely run the football. Taylor Green's averaging 8.2 yards per rush. Mike Washington, 7.2 yards per rush. They've made explosive plays. Taylor Green is not afraid to make tight window throws. They gave Texas problems last year. Like you said, though, this defense kind of stinks. Quincy Rhodes got 5 sacks on the year, so you got to block him. But outside of him, really nothing to be too concerned about. They've been really good this year, but they've also made some mistakes. Against Ole Miss, lose by 6. Against Memphis, you lose by 1. Those are 2 pretty good teams, especially Ole Miss. I'm not counting out Arkansas. I do wonder where their head's going to be at, though, because by the time they get to Texas, they got Notre Dame, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Auburn, an underrated Mississippi State team. Then they got LSU. That's about as hard as it gets. So I wonder where their head's going to be at by the time they get to Texas, as well as the health of their quarterback. If Taylor Green's not there, this team's not winning. But if Taylor Green's there, and if they can find ways to win a few games during that stretch, I wouldn't count on Arkansas. I think they're a pretty good team.
No, I don't disagree with that. And I think this week it's going to say a lot because I do think, the Vegas thinks that as well. I think it's under like 8 points as the line versus Notre Dame. And Notre Dame, like, they're 0-2, but they're still a good football team. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with Arkansas and Notre Dame. And I agree, like, if they're able to, let's say they have 4 or 5 wins going into Texas, like, to get to bowl eligibility would be a big thing for them. If they lose a lot of those games and they only have 2 wins going into Texas or 3 wins going into Texas, Pittman may not even be there. So there's a lot of question marks here. This could be a hard game. This could be a very, very easy football game. Next game up, big rivalry game. And I think this is the best wide receivers we are going to play all year with Mario Craver and Casey Concepcion. I wanted Mario Craver here at Texas. I questioned why we never even attempted to get him when he came out of Mississippi State, because I liked him when he was at Mississippi State, and we see what he's doing at Texas A&M, dropping a big old 200 on Notre Dame's head and running past everyone, and we could use that type of speed. I don't love Marcel Reed, but I like him enough with these playmakers where I definitely think, if Texas hasn't found their second cornerback here, it could be a very, very interesting game in Austin. Josh, I'll let you start. What do you think about this game? Do you think Texas can lose this football game?
Oh, for sure. I do think it helps that it's being played at Texas. The crowd's going to be crazy for this one. Marcel Reed is an inefficient football player, but, man, he can make some explosive plays happen. He's a very agile player, can make plays with his legs, can extend in plays too. Talked about Mario Craver, Casey Concepcion. Terry Bussey's also a good player too. They got some dudes that can absolutely go on the outside, and it's going to be a challenge for Manny Muhammad and whoever's our outside corner, Gilbo, Grayson Littleton. We talked about Kobe Black. All those guys. It's going to be a tough matchup. They got to tackle in space. They got to keep guys in front of them. The safeties have to play good football. But I'm not too overly concerned. This defense has not been particularly great to start the year off. They gave up 24 to UTSA, 22 to Utah State, and 40 to Notre Dame. They got dudes like Torian York who can absolutely go. They can create some turnovers. But if Texas has it going on the offensive end, I do think they win, because I do think this defense can just suffocate the life out of Marcel Reed. And as long as they limit the explosives, I think Texas should get a win here.
Yeah, man. I don't too much disagree, but to your point, getting this game at home is huge, because going to College Station and playing in front of the 12th man is different. But ultimately, I don't think it's the corners who that's not their job. We have to have a pass rush at this point. For sure. They make more than our corners. That sounds crazy talking about college football, but they do. They make more than our corners. Like, that room is more expensive than our corner room for a reason. We have more 5 stars, at those positions than at corner. And it's like, those guys to me are the guys who are going to have to step up and make plays. And what you said is true, Josh. Texas A&M defense isn't like, top 10 good to me. Like they're solid and they live off explosive plays. I don't think it's anything consistent really about their offense, just in terms of being able to like consistently move the ball for 4 quarters. I think they live off big plays and feed, 1 or 2 guys. But I don't, and all that being said, I don't have faith in Reed. I have zero faith in him to have to do what he did versus Notre Dame versus our defense. If we can rush the passer and play tight coverage how we have been, I don't see it too much of a problem. I think the point spread would probably be, 4 to 6 points, 4 to 7 points, depending on how both teams are playing at that point. But I think that's a more than winnable game where we can really solidify ourself and our identity, just in terms of just being physical up front. Because up front, I think they're talented. I don't see the same physicality that you see from a team at Georgia or hell, even Vanderbilt. I just think they're talented. So this should be our game to take.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say about A&M, their offensive line's pretty good. They got a pretty good offensive line. They got nothing from the tight ends, though. They don't get nothing from them. Amari Nyblack, obviously Texas last year, he's there. Theo,
the Swedish guy.
Yeah, the Swedish guy. He's got 7 catches for 48 yards. I mean, they don't have anything in the tight end room right now. So it's going to be a heavy dose of screens, get the ball in space to Craver, Bussy, and Concepcion. Yeah. They're going to try to run the football on Texas. I do think Texas will have a good amount of success versus Le'Veon Moss. It is going to be difficult to keep Marcel Reed contained. But if you keep him contained like they did last year, I just don't see Marcel Reed playing that well. Like, he's not going to dissect your defense. That's just not his game.
No. His game is predicated on the second play. Like, he wants to create the second play to create the explosive play. But that's why I said our pass rush, like those front 4, they're going to be pivotal. And whether we run stunts and games and twists, or are we pulling Colin Simmons out the spot and then wrap, whatever the game is going to be pivotal to stopping that offense, because they live off the explosive play. Like if they can't methodically move the ball, which I don't think they can, I don't think they have a chance, because to your point, he's not going to dissect, and they don't run the ball efficiently enough.
Okay, so obviously Texas starting a new season 0-0 in the SEC, 1 loss out of conference, obviously, to Ohio State. So Josh, I got 2 questions for you. Do you see any losses here? And if you do, who are they to? And I guess another one as well. Do you see Texas making it to Atlanta?
I definitely see at least 1 more loss on the schedule. I maybe see 2, but if Texas handles their business versus teams they should beat, I'm going to say 1. I think one of their losses comes from either Vanderbilt, Georgia, or Arkansas. I don't see Texas losing to Texas A&M. I don't think they lose to Oklahoma or Florida. I think they handle business versus Kentucky and Mississippi State. But Vanderbilt, that's a tough team, and they can absolutely go. Georgia's given Texas a ton of problems. Arkansas, if Taylor Green is healthy, they can score points. And if the offense is not going, I could see Texas getting into a shootout where they just don't have enough ammunition. So I think we lose to one of those teams. Do we make it to Atlanta? If I had put a percentage on it, I would go 50-50. I do think Texas has a great shot of doing it.
Brandon?
Okay. Yeah, so I do have another loss, and I think it's the Vanderbilt, Georgia, one of those 2. Arkansas, again, everything's predicated on Taylor Green, and if Sam Pittman is still there. If Coach Pittman's not there, I don't think they're playing for anything. I think you know what I mean? Like, I think the energy's low. So Vanderbilt and Georgia is where I can see the second loss coming from, for 2 totally different reasons, but it would be there. And can we make it to Atlanta? I'm gonna put the odds higher, because I don't think the SEC is, in terms of like just being top heavy, how we usually are in terms of like 1 or 2 teams really standing out. It's none of that, because Tennessee should have beat Georgia. I don't think Bama's really that good still. I don't think LSU's good.
Their defenses.
I don't think so. I think they played 2 bad teams. Clemson's offense trash.
Sucks. Yeah, they suck.
Florida's trash on offense. So when you look at it, it's like, who have they done anything against? So, I'm not going to say like they're, they just suck, but when you're talking about quality opponents, they haven't played anybody. Like Clemson was ranked, Florida was ranked, but I said it in the pregame or preseason. Both of those teams were way overrated.
And they barely beat them too.
And they barely beat them because LSU offense versus Clemson struggled. They were terrible. And then Clemson goes out to Syracuse and gives out 34 points. So when you look at the totality of the SEC, I think it's still ours to take because I think we have the best defense in the entire SEC. What's up?
If LSU beats Ole Miss this week, do you start to believe in them a bit more?
No. No, I do. They would if they beat Ole Miss by double digits in Oxford. I think if they do that, then that's a different story. But I don't think LSU. Like, I love the quarterback. I think he's a pro guy. Think he has it in him. Right. All that being said, I don't think they're efficient at running the ball, and on defense, like they have guys. They make enough plays, but they actually give up a lot of explosives. Teams don't capitalize for whatever reasons. Like they give up a fair amount of explosive plays. So I think it'll be one powerhouse team in the SEC championship, Texas. And I think it's going to be a sleeper team. Someone who's sneaking in through the back door with the favorable schedule. They win games. They steal a game or two. Next thing you know, they're sitting in the SEC championship. But I do think we make it. Because when you look at the rest of the conference, no one tells me that their defense is better. I think they have the best defense, bar none.
I think we're going to lose one game, and I think it's going to be to Georgia most likely. I do think we go to Atlanta, and I didn't make the prediction at the beginning of the season, but I had a weird feeling. I think Texas and Texas A&M are going to play in the SEC championship game in Atlanta.
Ooh.
I think Texas A&M has a really easy schedule, and I think their offense is really good. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to play in back-to-back weeks.
I think Missouri has a chance.
Yes,
they do have an easy schedule. Yeah, I think they have a chance.
That's my pick.
Missouri is a tough one. I would love to see Texas A&M for the SEC championship game because I would actually go with potentially Oklahoma, but then the Mateer injury just kind of throws it out the window.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, like Texas A&M goes to LSU, and then they get Missouri, and then they go to Missouri. Ooh.
Any chance Vanderbilt gets in?
They're going to have to go at least 2-1 in that stretch you said between LSU, Bama, and Missouri. If they don't do that, then they're not making it.
They have Tennessee as well.
Yeah, I just don't see it.
No.
That's the thing is, like, to me, who Tennessee has who this weekend?
Mississippi State.
Their schedule is easy. Like, they have Oklahoma, they have Florida, they have Bama.
They get Bama.
Their schedule is not hard at all. It's very similar to Texas.
They should. Okay, looking at this schedule, if Tennessee can get through Mississippi State, Bama,
I think they could.
Those are definitely winnable games.
Yeah, Mateer should be back for that game though, against them in November 1st.
Well, hey, I put something on record. I said Texas versus Texas A&M. I'm going to have you guys do that, and we're going to get out of here. So, Josh, what is it?
All right, I'm doing Texas, Tennessee. That's my bet.
Okay.
Texas, Missouri.
Ooh.
Texas, Missouri. So
we all have Texas Missouri
with different opponents. I think we would beat the brakes off of Missouri.
Okay, I'm telling you what I know. They have a running back. So
they do. Ahmad Hardy's good.
I did the scouting thing, and he transferred from Monroe. And
losing Monroe.
Had someone ask me, he was like, "Hey, give me the 10 pro prospects from Missouri." And I'm like, "Who's this back?" I saw him. I said, "Okay," and then I watched him play.
He went for 100 yards on us. Like, he's good.
And that was with Monroe O-line. Their problem though at Missouri is their secondary is not good.
No.
Right? So with that being said, if we're rolling offensively, then we should wipe them. But like that's a team who like they commit to running the ball more than anybody I've seen in terms of like, and like Marhart is like 220 and some change and big sturdy dude. So just saying, I don't know. Something about Mizzou that just screams backdoor SEC championship playoff.
I mean,
like
they
how?
could. Well, guys, that was a look ahead into the SEC slate for Texas. We are all predicting Texas to make the SEC championship game. That was easy for me to say. I have them versus Texas A&M. Brandon has them versus Missouri. Josh has them versus Tennessee. Battle of the real UTs, which we'll get to see next year. Again, guys, please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below. And as always, hook 'em.